I have 3 kids, one son who is 26 years old, one daughter who is 22 years old, and another son who is 19 years old. My daughter is pregnant with her first child. I am over the moon as she is giving me my first granddaughter. My other son has 2 sons. My grandsons call me Meemaw and have their entire lives. I chose Meemaw because my mom was a Meemaw to my children, and so was my grandma to me. It is a very special name to me, and I cherish it deeply. However, my daughter's boyfriend, who is 24 years old, has a mom who is 56, who also likes the name because of the show Young Sheldon. She has expressed her love for the show and how she would love to be just like Sheldon's Meemaw. She has been dropping not-so-subtle hints that she would like to be called Meemaw since we found out my daughter was pregnant, like asking the baby if she wants to call her Meemaw. On Friday morning, she called me and invited me out to lunch. I said yes because I enjoy her company for the most part and had no plans. When we got to the restaurant, we were talking about anything and everything but the baby. We ordered, and the topic of the baby didn't come up until our food came out. In the middle of me taking a bite, she muttered under her breath, "Give up being Meemaw." I was confused and asked her to repeat. She said, "You have 3 kids. You will have multiple chances to be a grandma. I only have 1 kid to have grandkids from, and I want to be Meemaw to them." I was shocked. I did not want to give up the name, especially because of how sentimental it was to me. After sitting in shock for a moment, I responded, "My 2 grandsons already call me Meemaw. It's too late to change it." I tried to laugh it off, but she stayed stone cold and said, "They don't have to call you anything else. I just want my boyfriend and my daughter's baby to call you something else." I then sat in silence again, not wanting to fight with her. She then followed up with a "so," to which I responded, "The name Meemaw goes back to my great-grandmother, and I have a lot of sentimental value behind the name. You can be Meemaw too, but I'm not changing it." She rolled her eyes, then responded, "I'm not sharing the name. It will be confusing for the baby." To which I stood up and said, "Then I guess you're going to have to look for another name." Then I slammed $20 in cash on the table and walked out. I've been getting messages like crazy all weekend from my future son-in-law's side of the family, ranging from nicely asking me to reconsider to calling me selfish for not giving the name up. My daughter is on my side, but it has caused a big argument between her and her boyfriend, and now she's staying with me for the time being. I'm starting to think I'm the antagonist, and for the sake of peace, I'm considering just letting it go. But what do you think? To add context, after receiving a few comments, I thought I'd explain why my daughter is now at my house instead of with her boyfriend. Her boyfriend is a major mama's boy. He agrees with everything that woman says, which has been extremely difficult for my daughter to deal with since the beginning of their relationship. Since my daughter was not taking her side in this situation, she decided to come stay with us until her boyfriend, in her words, chills out. I also realized I referred to him and his family as future in-laws. I say this because right before my daughter got pregnant, he had asked for our blessing to propose, but has since decided not to until after the baby is here. Thanks for the support and input, and I will talk to my daughter and husband and decide how we will move on from here. Now for an update. Hi everyone. Sorry for the late update. I wanted to wait until I could sit and write this with no interruptions. As much as I wanted this situation to end, it has not. I invited my daughter's boyfriend, his mom, and my daughter's brother over for dinner. However, it was just my daughter's boyfriend and his mom. Not sure why my daughter's brother wasn't there, but it's okay. When I let them in, there was no time wasted before a screaming match between my daughter's boyfriend and my daughter broke out. My husband and my youngest son split them apart, having my daughter in the living room while my daughter's boyfriend was taken to the garage. After that fire was put out, his mom finally spoke up. "All of this because you can't let go of being Meemaw?" she said. "I told you at the restaurant we could both be Meemaw. Why are you acting like there can only be one?" I asked. "I want a special name with my grandchildren, and I want it to be Meemaw," she said, cutting me off. "You are extremely entitled. You purposely cause drama every time you feel your son is drifting from you. You need to constantly be the center of attention no matter what, I said. A few more things were said that I honestly don't remember, but at this point, she had started crying. My heart broke for her. I am not a mean person. I've never purposely upset anyone, and the fact I made her cry broke my heart. I went to comfort her, but she screamed at me to get away from her. She then got up, grabbed her keys, and left. I had assumed my daughter's boyfriend left with her, but he didn't. He was in the garage with my husband until around 8 o'clock. They came over around 7. And when they both came back in, my daughter's boyfriend went to speak to my daughter. I'm not sure what was said, but my daughter left with him. As much as I want to let this go, I can't. Anytime any drama happens with her, it's always during a huge milestone in our children's relationship. When they moved out of our home and moved in together, his mom made my daughter's boyfriend give her a house key and would constantly barge in unannounced. And on a particular evening, she saw something she shouldn't have and then made a big deal about it. I just wish this pettiness would end. After reading so many of the comments, I've realized it has absolutely nothing to do with the name. She just wants control over her son and now our granddaughter. Now, for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. Not the idiot. Her desire to be called Meemaw because of a show is quite childish when compared to several generations of tradition in which grandma is called Meemaw. Either the other grandma can find another name, or she can just deal with not being the only Meemaw. Personally, her reasoning sounds entirely selfish to me. Kids will decide what to call people on their own for the most part, and trying to force this issue will blow up in that woman's face. Comment 2. Wait, she and the baby's father are now living apart over Meemaw? First off, I know plenty of people who called both grandmas grandma, or nana, or Meemaw, or Mema. You can both be Meemaw. The baby won't be confused. I'm more concerned that your daughter and her boyfriend are living separately over something so silly. That's the really concerning part of this story. Now, for the update. I'm still in such a mess over everything that has happened. I don't know how to fix this. A few days after the incident at the restaurant, my daughter texted me about a family dinner planned for Sunday at her boyfriend's parents' house. Honestly, I wasn't too keen on the idea of going back there, but she insisted that we needed to try and get past this. The second I read the text, I felt really anxious. She mentioned that the boyfriend's mom would be there, and I just knew this was going to be a disaster. I decided to attend the dinner, thinking maybe it could help ease some of the issues between our families. Spoiler alert, it made things way worse. So we're all sitting around the dinner table, and everything is pretty awkward as expected. Then, out of nowhere, the boyfriend's mom brings up the baby name again. She says she has a special gift for the grandchild, and I felt this wave of dread wash over me. Like, you gotta be kidding me. She hands over this framed picture of a character from young Sheldon with the name written underneath. My daughter looked so uncomfortable, and I just knew this was going to blow up. The boyfriend's mom insists that the name is perfect and suggests they should use it together. I jumped in and reminded her that the family name was already chosen and has significance. This woman laughed sarcastically. I could feel the air in the room change, and things were about to get really ugly. My daughter quickly excused herself to the kitchen, and the boyfriend followed her. So much for family bonding. I was left alone with the parents, trying to explain my side, but it was like talking to a brick wall. The boyfriend's dad even tried to make things better by agreeing with his wife. Like, seriously? I felt so isolated in their house, listening to them ignore my stance on the name while talking about everything else. After dinner, I found my daughter in the kitchen looking like a mess. She told me she felt stuck between her mom and boyfriend's family, and I could tell she was really struggling. When the boyfriend came back, he tried to comfort her, which just made me more frustrated. I suggested we talk things out, but she insisted she wanted to go home. He offered to drive us back, but I said I would take my car. The drive home was silent. You could cut the tension with a knife. Once we were home, I tried to talk to my daughter about everything, but she was having none of it. She told me she felt disrespected by her boyfriend's mom and was unsure about the relationship. I suggested she take a break from him, but she hesitated. A few days later, she told me she decided to break up with him. I was surprised, but also relieved. At a family gathering, the boyfriend's mom confronted me about the breakup. She accused me of meddling, and I stood my ground. I said the decision was my daughter's to make, and she threatened to tell her that I was the reason for the breakup. My son overheard this and jumped in to defend me and his sister. A huge fight broke out, and the boyfriend's mom stormed out. My daughter was now single, and she said she felt the weight of the situation lift off her shoulders, but she was still anxious about the name issue. A few weeks later, she got a call from the boyfriend's mom trying to apologize and smooth things over. My daughter decided to meet with her ex, wanting some closure, which made me really nervous. I was just waiting for the boyfriend's mom to escalate things again. While they were talking, I sat in the living room, hoping that this would all be over soon. My daughter came home, saying they had a calm discussion, but the name issue was still a problem. I'm so over this whole thing. I don't know how to make my daughter realize that she needs to stand up for herself, and this whole name issue isn't worth all this drama. Edit. My daughter has since decided to keep her ex's mom at arm's length, focusing on herself and the baby. We all feel relieved. Am I the idiot for confronting my brother's thieving girlfriend and causing family drama? I am a 16-year-old female who has an older brother who is 21 years old and still lives at home with us. He is currently in a relationship with his girlfriend, who is also 21 years old and lives at home with her parents. My brother and I have always been very close. We never fight and we rarely argue, so this situation is very out of the blue for us. Something that is important in this story is that I'm currently working a summer job and am earning my own money to try to save up to take some money with me when I go to college in 2025. I am not really a big spender, and I truly want to save my money. If I want something, I will just add it to my birthday or Christmas list. I started working in early March, so I have a good amount of money saved up that I haven't spent. Recently, my brother's girlfriend has been staying with us for long periods of time. At first, I didn't really have a problem with it because she was very nice, but then things from my room started to go missing, and she started to be very rude to me. When I told my brother, he would just shrug it off, saying that she is going through things at home and was a little tense. I believed him because she usually is very nice to me. But then, very valuable items and birthday cash started to go missing from my room. My best friend got me matching Pandora rings for my birthday, but they suddenly went missing. My earrings and jewelry started going missing, and I literally tore up the whole house looking for them. My mom and dad were also getting mad because my money and other things were going missing. My mom confronted my older brother about this and told him that it was probably his girlfriend taking my pricier things, and he got really mad, saying that she would never do that. Yesterday, I came home earlier from work because they were overstaffed for the night, so they let me off early. I came home and went into my room to find her literally digging through my envelope. Obviously, I got really mad and started yelling at her. Like, why on earth are you stealing from a 16-year-old? She got mad at me and started yelling back, saying she was just looking for something. You were looking for something in my money envelope. My mom and brother came into my room to ask what happened, and I told them. I expected my brother to defend me, but he started yelling at me for accusing her of stealing. Like, what on earth? My mom and I started yelling at him, and he was defending her while she was crying. My mom told her that she was out of line and needed to leave the house. My brother got mad, called me an inappropriate name, and left with her. Everyone tells me it's not my fault, but now my brother won't speak to me. I have no clue why he believes her when she was literally holding my envelope in her hands the entire time this was going on, but whatever. She direct messaged me on Instagram, saying I was an inappropriate name for lying and trying to break up their perfect relationship. So am I the inappropriate one? To add, hello. Thank you for responding to this post, and I am very grateful for all your opinions. There are some things that I would like to clear up. I do have a bank account. The money that was in the envelope was money from my birthday that just recently passed. In my family, extended family usually give me money instead of gifts. There is also Chinese New Year money in this envelope. Like I mentioned, I don't really like spending my money, so there was about $450 in the envelope before it started going missing. This all started happening 2.5 weeks ago. Now I only have $210 in the envelope. I still haven't spoken to my brother or his girlfriend yet, but my dad said if he doesn't reach out to him by tonight, he will file a police report. I will hopefully have an update by tomorrow. Now, for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. Not the jerk. Your brother is in denial, or if he did know, chose to turn a blind eye to what his girlfriend is doing. Now she is playing the victim card. Hell no. You are right to be upset, and kudos to your mom for being on your side. Comment 2. Not the jerk. She is a thief, and you would be justified in reporting her to the police. Your brother is showing terrible judgment here. When people show you who they are, believe them. She has shown quite clearly who she is. Now, for the update. Alright, so it's been about a month since that whole confrontation with my brother's girlfriend. Honestly, things have been pretty damn miserable at home. My brother hasn't said a word to me since that day, just keeping this ice-cold distance. I mean, I get it. I'm not expecting us to be besties again or anything, but a simple hi would be nice. The girlfriend, on the other hand, has been relentless with her nasty messages. She keeps texting me, calling me names, and blaming me for ruining their relationship. Like, lady, you did that all on your own, but whatever. My dad has really been the only one on my side throughout all of this. He's been trying to figure out what we can do about this whole mess. I think my mom is kind of torn between us and the girlfriend, which is just... And to make things worse, I found out that more of my money is missing. I thought it was just the original $210, but turns out it's $240 gone. It's just so messed up. So one evening I was in my room, trying to distract myself from all this crap, when I overheard my brother talking to my mom in the kitchen. They were arguing, and I could hear bits and pieces of it. My brother was super frustrated, talking about the family taking sides and how he wants to defend his girlfriend. It was so clear he was upset with all of us. He thinks we're all ganging up on her, which is so not the case. I mean, she was the one going through my stuff and stealing my money. Thanksgiving was coming up, and my mom thought it would be a good idea to have a family dinner to celebrate. She wanted us all together, especially since my brother insisted that his girlfriend would be there. My mom wanted to have a family meeting before dinner to discuss ongoing issues. I figured she meant to talk about the girlfriend and all the messed up stuff she's done. Honestly, my mom has been pretty understanding about the whole thing, so I was kind of glad we were doing this. So during the meeting, I decided to present the missing money as proof of the girlfriend's behavior. I thought it was important to show how serious this is, but the moment I brought it up, my brother went on the defensive. He started accusing me of making things worse and not being able to let this go. Like, excuse me? You're the one with the girlfriend stealing from your sister, and you're mad at me for being upset? The tension was rising, and my dad had to step in to calm things down. I swear, it's like he's the only one keeping this family from completely falling apart. My mom then suggested that we talk to the girlfriend to hear her side of the story. She's always been the type to want to see both sides, which I can appreciate, but like, come on. So Thanksgiving dinner rolls around, and the girlfriend arrives with all these gifts for everyone, trying to butter us up. It was so obvious what she was doing. She even tried to act all innocent and happy to be there. But then she brings up the incident from a month ago, trying to shift blame onto me in front of everyone. I was like, no way. This is my chance to confront her about the missing money directly at the dinner table. So I did. I asked her straight up if she took the money, and she just laughs it off, saying I must be imagining things. My brother jumps in, defending her like a crazy person, and gets all angry at me again. I swear, this guy has no spine. The whole family dinner turned into this screaming match. Everyone was shouting, and it was just chaos. My dad had to raise his voice to get everyone to calm down and listen. Finally, the girlfriend says something that shocked all of us. She reveals that she hasn't even been staying at our house this whole time. She's been staying with friends. My brother lost it, storming out of the house and taking her with him. It left the dinner table in complete chaos. After that, things were just quiet for a few days. I mean, what could we say? The girlfriend had made her choice, and my brother was just following her lead like a lost puppy. Then I found out that the girlfriend had been seen at a local party with friends. It was just so messed up. Finally, my brother reached out to me. He asked to meet privately, and I was just like, sure, whatever. So we met at a diner nearby. He seemed all tense and defensive, and it was just awkward. I confronted him about the girlfriend's behavior and the missing money. That's when he dropped a huge surprise on me. He told me that he found out the girlfriend has a history of borrowing money from others and never paying it back. Like, seriously? How did you not know this before you started dating her? And it got worse because he mentioned that he found out she lied about her past. I was just like, wow, you're really in deep with this one, aren't you? We talked about confronting the girlfriend together to find out the truth. He thought it was a good idea, and honestly, so did I. We wanted to get to the bottom of this mess once and for all. So we arranged to meet the girlfriend at a local coffee shop to discuss everything. I just hope we get some real answers this time. To answer a few questions, my brother is 22 years old. He met his girlfriend about 6 months before all of this started. She started coming over a lot around that time. The missing money was kept in an envelope in my room. After the first incident, I started keeping it in a drawer. I didn't think she'd go that far, but clearly, I was wrong. My brother and I used to be pretty close, but it's been strained since he started dating her. I don't know if things will go back to normal between us, even with this talk. I hope we get answers from her soon. Am I the idiot for wearing a No More Family drama shirt to a forced family dinner? My brother has a 14-year-old son, Jamie. My brother and Jamie's mom were married, but she left when Jamie was 3 months old for another man. She also chose to leave Jamie behind, and he never had contact with her or anyone in her extended family. This was not a great surprise. My brother's relationship and marriage to Jamie's mom were not good. They were so bad for each other and fought constantly. My parents took Jamie for a year, and my brother got himself together and then took him back. In the time that has followed, my brother married and divorced twice more, had 6 live-in relationships, and a daughter with another woman he had a very brief fling with. My brother met his current sister-in-law 18 months ago. They got married because she got pregnant and sped through the relationship, including introducing her and Jamie. Jamie is not interested in the newest sister-in-law or his new half-sibling at all. My brother and sister-in-law tried including him in the pregnancy. They tried to get some photos of them, plus my brother's daughter, during the pregnancy and initially after the sister-in-law gave birth. But Jamie was very clearly there against his will. He did not want to help pick names. He also went to a friend's house the afternoon my brother was planning to bring him and his daughter, who he has 1 weekend a month custody of, to meet the baby in the hospital. Jamie rarely talks to the sister-in-law. She has to drag words out of him, according to her and my brother. He refused to help her during the pregnancy and ignored my brother's request that he check in on her after school while she was on partial bed rest during the later stages of her pregnancy. He went straight to friends' houses after school instead. My sister-in-law overheard Jamie tell a friend she's not family and he's just waiting for them to get divorced and for his dad to move on to the next woman. He said he'd prefer his dad to date outside the house all the time, but at least he's beyond the point of caring about any of them or trying to know them. She told my brother, and my brother was furious and grounded Jamie and told him he needs to start treating their family like family, because he acts like it's only the 2 of them, but he has 2 siblings. The grounding was extended when Jamie said half-siblings, not siblings, and they're not real siblings either. The sister-in-law was present when my brother mentioned all of this to me and the consequences. He was so mad at Jamie. I could see the anger. I told them he was being too hard on Jamie given the history with relationships and wives. It's no surprise Jamie feels like he does, and he should try giving it time and proving Jamie wrong rather than punishing him. My brother told me to shut up. Am I the jerk? Now, for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. Not the idiot. 9 failed relationships during Jamie's lifetime. Your brother is a major loser and a lousy father, and deep down he knows it. The next time your brother starts to complain about Jamie's attitude, list off all the women he's been with and the baby from a fling. I'm sure that'll make an impact. I'm sorry for your nephew. If you cut off your brother, you won't get to see him, and I think he needs someone rational in his life. Do your parents ever weigh in on this? Comment 2. Not the idiot, but your brother is. His son is a child who has had a lot of turmoil in his life. He's basically been taught not to get too attached to anyone because they all leave last. A large chunk of that is because of his dad, and he punishes the child for it? Maybe his dad should worry more about being a good parent to the children he has and less about continually trying to find the next woman. He's on a great path to having a son who doesn't speak to him once he turns 18. Now for the update. It's been almost 2 days since the fight with my dad, and things are still rocky. He's been stricter than usual, like way more than he has any right to be. Now he's insisting that I join all these family outings. I'm not a child. I don't need to be treated like one. My sister-in-law has been trying to connect with me too. She's invited me to help with the baby and stuff, but no thanks. I'd rather be playing video games than changing diapers. The whole family is preparing for this holiday dinner at my dad's house, which is just another thing to be miserable about. My dad announced the dinner plans during breakfast and expected everyone to be excited about it. I rolled my eyes and muttered that I wouldn't be going. My sister-in-law tried to persuade me by saying that everyone was looking forward to me being there, but I snapped back, saying I didn't care about their plans. My dad didn't like that. He slammed his hand on the table and demanded respect. I mean, give me a break. I get it. I'm supposed to be respectful of the new family. Well, you know what? I'm not feeling it. So, the day before the dinner, I overheard my dad and my sister-in-law talking about me. They were discussing my attitude and how difficult it is to bond with someone like me who just pushes everyone away. I get it. You think I'm the problem. So on the day of the dinner, I decided to make a statement. I showed up late to the dinner, wearing this shirt that says, "No more family drama." You should have seen the looks on everyone's faces. I just sat down without greeting anyone and grabbed a plate. My dad confronted me about my shirt right away. He asked me what I thought I was doing. My sister-in-law tried to lighten the mood by making jokes about the shirt, but I ignored her. The baby was crying in the background, but I was too focused on my food to care. My dad tried to talk to me, but I just gave him sarcastic responses. The atmosphere was so uncomfortable, like everyone was just waiting for something to explode. My sister-in-law got upset and left the table to tend to the baby. My dad stood up and yelled that I needed to stop acting like a child. I told him I'm only being honest and not pretending to be happy. The whole dinner was awkward, filled with silence and nervous laughter. I went through the motions, finished eating, and stood up, saying I was done with the dinner. I stormed out of the house, slamming the door behind me. I needed to cool off, so I took a walk to this nearby park. While I was there, I bumped into an old friend from school who invited me to hang out. I agreed, feeling relieved to be away from all the family drama. We spent some time playing basketball and just joking around. It really helped me unwind. Meanwhile, back at the dinner, my dad and sister-in-law were arguing about my behavior. My sister-in-law suggested that they might need to give me some space to figure things out. I got home later that night to find my dad waiting up for me. We had this heated discussion about boundaries and respect. I stood my ground, saying that I deserved to have my feelings recognized. After an intense exchange, my dad finally calmed down and admitted that he doesn't know how to handle this. Edit. My dad and his wife decided to give me some space and not force any family bonding for now. Things are quieter. If you like this video, you'll probably like these too. Also, while you're here, please consider subscribing. It's your support that keeps this channel alive and allows me to make better and longer videos. Have a great day.